Okay, some breaking news that happened this morning, and it's not good news. So Nolan Smith very well could be out for the rest of the year. That's according to a report from Matt Zients, I think is how you pronounce it. Uh, that Georgia is feared to have lost Smith for the rest of the season. Now, yesterday on Monday, it was pretty clear that Nolan was probably not going to play against Tennessee. And Kirby made clear that the future of Nolan was going to be dependent on what happens with an MRI. Here's what Kirby said yesterday. His availability, talking about Nolan, has not been determined. It does not look good for availability this week. It's a pec muscle, meaning a pectoral muscle. It's one of those deals where we're going on an MRI. We're doing an MRI. We're still getting some opinions on it, but he's probably doubtful for the week. We wrote about this on Dog Post this morning. You know, Nolan uh, played in the first half against the Gators, and then in the second half is when I noticed him not playing on the sideline in street clothes. Kirby said this about the guys that came in to replace him. He said Robert Beal played well. Excuse me, Robert Beal played. He played a little more number of snaps than Nolan. Once Nolan was injured, Chaz Chambliss did a nice job coming in. It was great to have him back. Didn't know that he would have to play so much in that role. His hamstring has still been bothering him. It bothered him a little bit the other night after the game. So it's one of those things we're going to see how he does on Monday and moves around, looking to get Marvin, MJ, and all those guys going. So nobody's really played more just because it was Chaz and Robert Beal mainly. So I think that's what's probably going to continue. We could see some more of MJ Sherman as well. I think there's a couple of areas where this affects things. Number one, you no longer have Nolan on the field, like he's not going to be out there, and that's not good because he's one of the top, defensive players in the country. Secondly, you don't have him dressed, so the leadership aspect that Nolan brings and has brought for a long time, that slows down. I mean, we can't really be honest and say, oh, it doesn't matter. Of course it matters. Nolan's one of the a year ago against Florida, Nolan made game-changing plays against the Gators. Don't forget that we're having a signing with Kelee Ringo. The spaces are getting gobbled up already. Make sure that you don't miss it. The details are down below. It's November 20th. Limited space. We are probably going to run out of space. So availability for y'all. Make sure you get that. You get the book included, and he'll sign anything that you bring. So I think four guys like Keely Ringo, four guys like Zion Logue, guys who have played a little bit. I'm not sure that this will be massive for them, but the younger guys that have played defense, that'll hurt. I think it will also hurt on special teams, and that means that Chaz Chambliss and Robert Beal will probably get fewer snaps on special teams, and if they don't, it means that Georgia will be asking those two guys to do a lot more. So why does Georgia run the ball so well? They have guys. They have three guys, four guys that are all running. In this case, Robert Beal was playing plenty, but now he's going to be playing more. Is he ready to do that in terms of conditioning? It's too late to condition now. I mean, if you're not in condition now, it's too late, and you can't just recover. It's November, so my suspicion is those guys are in condition. The question is with Chaz specifically, uh, hamstring is a tricky thing to make sure you are right with because that can linger. That's an annoying injury. Okay, I don't speak as one who's had one. This body doesn't get hamstring problems. No, no, no. I've been around the block long enough to know that you have. There's a lot of work that goes into getting a hamstring right, stretching. There's a lot of extra effort that you've got to deal with. So, Nolan being gone possibly for the rest of the season is not a good thing. Now, I will add that it was this exact week a year ago where Adam Anderson was dismissed from the team or suspended, whatever you want to call it. So it's not like Georgia hasn't experienced this before, but it hurts. Um, Example, in 2018 with Georgia, I think they had a score lead against Alabama, and DeAndre Walker got hurt. Well, here comes Brent Cox. Brent Cox did not play the way he needed to play as the backup moving into the primary role, and it really hurt Georgia on the drive where Alabama tied the game, I think it was. So you're losing just tons of experience with Nolan, tons of maturity. A team leader or the team leader will no longer be out there. I do not think it's the end of the world. I just think it's a tough loss from a vocal leader. I will add that there are a lot of guys that are banged up right now. We talked about that on the site. I know a lot of y'all are going over there. We can see it in the numbers. Thanks to everybody, by the way. Um, this is the largest October we have ever had on the website. I think it's the largest. I did the numbers this morning, and I want to go through them one more time before I proclaim it the largest month on the site we've ever had, but I think it was. So we really do appreciate everybody checking Dog Post out. If you're watching this video, you are part of a very high number of folks who are watching it too. And all I can do is say to you that we really do appreciate it. Y'all are the reasons we can give opportunities like this. If somebody in your family that really wants to meet Kelee, this is an awesome way to do that. He was signing autographs after the game very quickly in Jacksonville. And unless you're one of the folks on the front row of the student section in Jacksonville, you didn't get the opportunity to get that from him. We've given that to you, but we can't do that sort of stuff on November 20th without your help. And we do really appreciate it. It's going to be at the Red Zone in Athens. And I'd love to see all of you that can get there when before we run out of space. I'd love to see everybody there, but that's just not practical. So take advantage of it while you can. Um, we first saw Nolan Smith when he was playing for IMG in Florida in 2017 or 18. I cannot remember which. He's always been a very gregarious, fun-loving player. Was the number one player coming out that year. It looks like he's worked himself into a top 20 NFL prospect. That's pretty good. Everybody would say, well, if you're number one in high school, shouldn't you be number one in the NFL? Yeah, that's not how it works at all. But if you have gone from being a five-star player, number one ranked guy, to a probable first round draft pick, that's a big deal. So um, I think if Nolan's career has ended, um then he's had an overwhelmingly successful career at Georgia. And why do I say that? Well, we'll have to see what happens with the draft. But to win a national title and to be one of the reasons why Georgia won the national title with plays like this, okay, those are extremely, extremely. I mean, Nolan will always be associated with one of the greatest defenses of all time in college football, and that's the 2021 Georgia defense. His loss now, moving forward, means Robert Beal and Chaz Chambliss specifically have to step up. It also means that um, there's an opportunity now for Marvin Jones, for MJ Sherman to really show what's been going on behind the scenes the last few years. I mean, MJ, also a five-star prospect, has been dealing with injuries for a while. And if you watch him, he is starting on special teams. And if Jordan Davis or Devontae Wyatt is any indication, there is no sunset on the time at which you have to make an impact at Georgia. And so it's all there for those guys. I know rushing the passer, Chaz Chambliss. I'm sorry. This is my opinion. I shouldn't say I'm sorry. Chaz Chambliss could be one of the elite pass rushers in this league. I mean, he's not there all the time, but I have seen enough of him to know this guy can really rush the passer. I don't know if he does I mean, I'm not smart enough to know if he does the other stuff enough to where he should be in that position all the time. But he is a very good pass rusher. Robert Beal has shown in leading the team last year in sacks just what he can do. But it is a tough loss. But you are going to lose guys in football. Tillman was out for Tennessee. They got through it undefeated. They're coming to Athens on Saturday. So it is a moment that Georgia will it is a challenge that Georgia will have to get through, and that's what they're going to have to do on Saturday and beyond.